everyone, कैसे हैं आप सब? I hope you all are doing amazingly well, and today's video is going to be all about the IELTS exam pattern. What is the format of IELTS exam? So if anyone is watching who is well aware about the complete pattern and is preparing for the exam, then this video is not for you. You don't have to waste your time by watching it. This is only for the beginners who want to prepare for this exam and don't have any idea that what is the pattern of this exam. So let's get started without wasting any time. What is IELTS? IELTS is an acronym for International English Language Testing System. It's a test to test. It's a test for your to check your English level, and you have to appear for this test when you want to study or work in a foreign country where English is the native language. So, and you are scored out of 9 bands for an IELTS exam. There are 4 modules in an IELTS exam for speaking, listening, reading and writing. Any language can be tested on the basis of these 4 modules, that how well we can speak, write, listen or read a particular language. So in the same way, English is tested on the basis of these 4 modules, and these 4 modules separately are of 9 bands. 9 is the highest band score you can get in an IELTS exam, and in all the 4 modules separately you will be scored out of 9 bands, and your overall score will be the aggregate, or you can say average of the 4 modules. Then average of all the 4 modules will be your overall score. So let's start with the speaking part. In speaking module, you will have a conversation or you will speak in front of an examiner, and your speaking duration will be around 11 to 14 minutes, and it is kind of an interview, and this interview is not formal interview. It is a kind of semi-formal interview with the examiner, where you talk about some particular topics or the some according to the format of the exam. There are 3 parts in your IELTS speaking. Part 1 intro questions, part 2 cue card, and part 3 is follow-ups. In intro questions, the examiner asks you generally about you, study, about your work, your study, subjects, your habits, hobby, or your country, your hometown. All these questions can be asked in intro part. And the second is a cue card. In cue card, you will be given a topic, and you have to speak on that topic for 1 to 2 minutes, or until the examiner stops you. So, and part 3 is follow-ups. In follow-ups, your follow-ups can be related to your cue card, and sometimes he can also ask some different questions which are not directly related to your cue card, but somehow relate. But what is the difference? Because he asks you some questions related in intro and in follow-ups. But what is the difference? In follow-ups, in intro, there are general questions related to you. For example, as I said, your country, hometown, subject, school, and all these topics. But in follow-ups, he want to check your ideas, your views, your opinion on certain topics, that how you tackle the things, or how you see the things, or what is your opinion on certain things. So in follow-ups, he try to get your ideas on with the help of those questions. So that is the main difference between intro and follow-ups. And cue card is all about the continuous speaking, when you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes for your cue card, and you will be given 1 minute to prepare for your second part. He will give you a topic and then give you 1 minute time for preparation, and then you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, or until he stops you, and then follow-ups. So part 1 introduction, second cue card, third is follow-ups. All these things will be completed in almost 11 to 14 minutes. This is the given time by them. It can be less or more than that, depending upon the length of your answer, or how much interested examiner in your answer. So, but the average duration is 11 to 14 minutes, and you will be, as I said earlier, that you will be given out of 9 in your speaking module. In all the 4 modules, you will be scored out of 9 bands. Highest is the 9 band score you can get. So this is all about the speaking part. Second module is reading. In reading, you will get 40 questions. Time duration will be 1 hour, 60 minutes, and you will be given 40 questions. 40 questions will be from three passages. Three passages will be of there will be 5 to 6 paragraphs in each passage, and there are 13 and 14 questions, because total questions are 40. So in any of the passage you will get 14 questions, and 13 in each two of the other. So these 40 questions can be in the form of blanks, list of headings, match the following or match the information, or multiple choice questions, or there can be any um, uh, the diagram labeling can also be in your reading module. Yes, diagram labeling, multiple choice questions, list of headings, or fill in the blanks. These are the major types of the question that those are asked in your reading part. It is said that one passage is of easy, then moderate, then difficult level. So, and yes, it is almost 99% true that this is the difficulty level of each passage. So you have to answer all those 40 questions in 1 hour, and within these 60 minutes you have to transfer your answers on the answer sheet as well. You will not be given any separate timing to transfer your answer. So this is the reading part, reading module. And the next is listening. Listening is also of the same kind, that 40 questions, but there is some change in pattern. There are 4 parts. In part 1, in each part there are 10 questions. In part 1, 10, 2, 3, 4. In all the parts are 10 questions each. In most of the cases, part 1 and the types of questions in listening are also kind of same, that multiple choice questions. Yes, I forgot to mention one thing, that in reading you can also have yes, no, not given, or true, false, not given type of questions in your reading module, but not in listening. Listening doesn't have true, false, not given, but yes, in your reading many 5 to 7 questions are of yes, no, not given, or true, false, not given types questions can be asked in your reading module. So we were talking about listening. In listening, 4 parts. In part 1 and part 4, most of the time there are blanks. Fill in the blanks in part 1 and part 4. And in part 2 and part 3, there can be map questions, diagram labeling, multiple choice questions, and the match the information. For example, you will be given 4 to 5 topics and match the following type of question. So fill in the blanks, match the following, multiple choice questions, or map or diagram labeling. These kind of questions can be asked in listening module. What is the difference between all the 4 parts? In part 1 and part 4, there will be one time. In part 4, in part 1, mostly the conversation is type when, for example, when someone have called in any hotel, in any university, or any other place to inquire about something, for example, and when they ask you about your details, these kind of conversations come in part 1. So 2 people are talking in part 1, and in part 2nd and part 3rd, the conversation is mostly about 2 to 3 people. For example, some of university students are discussing about their projects, or with teacher, professor. So more people are involved in part 2 and part 3. So these are more complex as compared to the part 1 and part 4. In part 1, in part 4, you only one person will be talking on any certain topic. For example, university professor any university professor will be giving speech, and you just have to pick the information related to your blanks. This is the pattern of IELTS exam. 4 part, 10 questions in each part, and conversation will be different in part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. a recording will be played and you have to pick your answers from that recording. You will be given 20 to 30 seconds between each part to check your answers. While recording will be played, you will be given 20 to 30 seconds to check your answers after each parts, and you will be given 10 minutes extra to transfer your answers from a rough sheet to the uh, from rough sheet to the answer sheet. This time is not, there is no extra time in reading module, but listening you will be given 10 minutes, because while listening it is very difficult, because you can use some, while listening from the recording you can use some short forms, because you have to go with the speed of that recording, so they give 10 minutes extra to transfer your answer. In listening module there will be 40 questions and almost 30 minutes recording will be played, and in that 30 minute of the recordings and 10 minutes for transferring your answers. So this is all about the listening module. And the fourth and last one is writing module. A writing module, yes, one more thing, there are two types of IELTS exam. One is academic and second is GT, journal training. Academic is for students when someone want to go for study in a foreign country, and GT is for when someone wants to go for work or apart from studies. They have to appear for GT and students have to appear for academic. In academic and GT, the major difference is that reading and writing is bit difference. Listening and speaking is same for GT and academic as well, but in reading the difficulty level or the some pattern of the question is different, but the other 40 question time duration are same for GT and academic as well, but the difficulty level or the type of question pattern of questions can be different. And and in reading in writing, task 2 is same for academic and GT as well, but task 1 is different. In task 1 for academic you will be given a map or any map, any pie chart, bar graph, line graph, table, and these kind of task can question can be asked in the form of task 1. And for journal training you have to write a letter task, and that letter can be formal, informal or semi-formal. So for GT task 1 is a letter writing, and for academic task 1 is to write the summary of a map. You will be given a map and you need to write, you are supposed to write the summary of that chart or the bullet or the central idea of that in 150 words. Yes. So task 1 is of 3 bands and task 2 is of 6 bands. In task 1 you have to write in 150 words. This is the word limit for task 1 and 250 is the word limit for task 2. So but you can write 10 to 15 words less or more, it's up to you, but the prescribed or the given word limit is 150 and 250 respectively for task 1 and task 2. And task 2 is essay writing. You will be given an essay topic and you are supposed to write an essay in 250 words for task 2, and the complete timing for the whole writing module will be 60 minutes, 1 hour, and you can manage your time accordingly. For task 1 and task 2 there is no separate timing for task 1 and task 2, so you yourself can arrange that which task you want to attempt first, task 1 or task 2, it's up to you. So the complete timing for writing module is 60 minutes. Task 1 is of 3 bands and task 2 is of 6 bands. Or your overall score again for writing will be from 9 bands. You will be scored out of 9 bands combined. They do not disclose the separate result. The combined result is disclosed for both the tasks. Yes, this is all about the writing module. So all in all, this is the pattern of an IELTS exam. This is the format of an IELTS exam. If I forget to mention something, you can ask me in the comment section. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions. And if you like the content, you can give it a thumbs up or share it with your friends who are preparing for the who want to prepare for this exam. And you can subscribe to this channel to get more updates related to the IELTS exam. I hope I was able to answer your questions, and thanks for watching.